Hello and welcome to Dishing Delights. My name is Jenica and today I'm going to share with you another What's for Dinner video. Now let's get into it. I am going to make some tacos tonight, so I'm going to make some refried beans. I have my cheese, my lettuce, some tomatoes for myself. I'm going to reheat some rice. I have some turkey broth that I'm gonna cook that with. I have some turkey already ready, and then I'm going to make my husband some ground beef because he wants ground beef tacos. And then I'm just going to fry up some corn tortilla shells. To start off, I'm going to heat up my cast iron pan, and then I'm going to rinse my beans. My husband doesn't like his overly seasoned, so I'm going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of paprika. To these beans, I'm gonna add a little bit of that turkey broth. Whoa, making a mess. I'm gonna let those come up to like a medium-high heat. Then I'm also going to add some garlic and onion powder to those beans, along with some salt and pepper. I'm also gonna add a little bit of cumin to those beans. And then I'm just cooking those beans and the meat down until it's fully cooked while my camera is super foggy. That is nice and browned. I'm gonna take my rice, add it to this bowl, and then I'm just gonna heat up my portion of turkey that I want. Just heat this up while that stovetop is still hot. I'll probably add a tablespoon of that turkey broth since there's only about a 1/3 cup left. Now it's time to fry up those tortillas. Here is the refried beans. They're really not refried though. They're just stock, some beans, a little bit of oil. I didn't smush them all the way down. I like them a little bit chunky. And I'm gonna fry these up, and then I'll see you when we plate our tacos. All right, we're gonna make some tacos. I have some ground beef, some cheese, a little bit of lettuce, and some sour cream, and also some rice, and a little bit of beans. And that is what's for dinner. For mine, I'm gonna add some of those refried beans, and I have some turkey for mine. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of rice for whatever falls out of my taco, with some cheese, lettuce, and I'm just gonna add those tomatoes to the side, and a little bit of sour cream. And that is what's for dinner. For our second meal, I'm going to make some pork ribs in the air fryer with some butter noodles and our favorite mushrooms. Now I did make sure that I patted these dry first, and we are going to cook these up in the air fryer. All right, for my seasoning, I'm gonna put some cumin, some paprika, some garlic powder, onion powder and some salt. Then I'm just gonna mix that up and we're gonna rub it along our pork ribs. And then we're just gonna set these meat side down in the air fryer. And we're gonna cook these at 375 for 15 minutes, flip them and let them go another 15 minutes. I'm also going to be making some mushrooms, and then I'm gonna cook up some pasta. I'm gonna add just a little bit of butter and Parmesan cheese and red pepper flakes. Just keep it simple for a side dish. I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter. And then to that I'm going to add my mushrooms, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder. I'm going to add some salt to my pasta water and add in my pasta. I have this honey barbecue sauce. We're gonna coat our ribs with this. This is just from Kroger. All right, we're just gonna pop these back in for a few more minutes. I did add about a tablespoon of olive oil as well. Now that those mushrooms are done, I'm going to take them out. Then I'm going to turn the heat down to low. Add a tablespoon of butter. This is not a healthy meal tonight. We're gonna check on that pasta. Needs about another minute. All right, let's make this pasta. There was still a mushroom in there. For these noodles, I just added a little more butter, and then I added some crushed red pepper flakes. Then I'm going to add some mushrooms. And some ribs. And that is what's for dinner. Gonna add a little more crushed red pepper flakes. And I also added some Parmesan cheese. I just used this stuff because it tastes like childhood. And there's my plate. For our third meal, we are going to make some quail. This quail recipe is from the New York Times. I will link it down below. This was some quail that we bought from Wild Fork Farms. I love their company and these did not disappoint. So what I did with them is I patted them dry, I seasoned them with some salt and pepper, and then we started to make some acorn squash and some glaze. For that acorn squash, I'm just going to pull all of the guts from the inside of it, all of those seeds, and then I'm going to toss them into an oven-safe baking dish. Now, I did not have any brown sugar on hand, and you have to have brown sugar with your squash, so I'm just going to make some with some white sugar and some molasses. Alright, I have now made some brown sugar. Now I'm going, that is honey, not oil. I thought that this was what I had oil in, but it is not. Anyways, here's my oil. I'm going to rub my oil all over these small acorn squash, and then I'm going to just coat it in a little bit of salt, pepper, and my homemade brown sugar. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of brown sugar. And then I'm going to bake these in an oven that is set at 400 degrees for 1 hour. Now this glaze was fantastic, and as with any glaze, I recommend that you double it. It's just honey, orange juice with some cumin, and this was so good on these quail. Now I'm just going to put some avocado oil onto a cast iron pan, and we are going to roast these at 500 degrees for 10 minutes, flip them, and then let them go for another 10 minutes. I'm going to add that glaze right now, and then I doubled it, and I'm going to put the extra on the stovetop and cook it down so we can use it as a glaze at the end. And now that our squash is perfectly roasted, I'm going to let that cool down a bit, and then I'm going to toss some green beans into a pan with some butter and cook those up. These are just some French style green beans. I'm going to add some pepper to them, and this dinner is going to come together really quick. And this is the final product. So I just got those quail off of that cast iron pan. Of course they did stick a little bit, and then I served it up with some of that squash and a scoopful of those green beans, and this dinner was absolutely phenomenal. Of course, at the end I did take a drizzle of that delicious glaze and added that right on top of the quail, and that is what's for dinner tonight. This was fabulous. All right, we are going to use up this canned turkey soup that I made, and I have some leftover rice, so we are going to make some turkey and rice soup for dinner. This is super simple. It's going to be ready in less than 10 minutes. Ooh, this smells so good. Gonna break up that turkey just a little bit. Falls apart. And then here is our leftover rice from the other night. Just gonna add 2 scoopfuls of that in. And just like that, we're gonna bring this up to a boil, let it boil for like 5 minutes, and then we have turkey and rice soup. All right, this has been boiling for 5 minutes. And here, the delicious turkey and rice soup. Dinner in less than 10 minutes. All right, we're gonna make some beef and noodles. I have my beef and vegetable canned soup. Ooh, it smells amazing. Now, if you're wondering when I canned these 2 soups, I'm going to have that in the next video. I recorded all of my food preservation in October, and I'm going to be sharing that with you in a separate video. But I hope this inspires you to get some meals in jars on your shelf. Now, I'm going to add some egg noodles. Gonna add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. This meal turned out absolutely delicious. To be able to have beef and noodles ready in less than 10 minutes, this was such a lifesaver. I am so happy that I have 6 more jars of this on the shelf waiting for a cozy winter day. And there is our beef and noodles. And that's what's for dinner. All right, it is dinner time. And I have some frozen chicken breast. I'm going to toss these in the air fryer. What I'm gonna do is toss a little bit of avocado oil. I wanna make sure that that gets all over the chicken so the seasoning will stick to it. This is just the salt-free jerk chicken seasoning. I'm going to toss these into the air fryer at 370 degrees until they are cooked through. I will flip them halfway. Then I'm just going to boil up some sweet corn. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just tossing my corn into the boiling water for about 3 to 5 minutes until it turns bright yellow, and then that is it. All right, now all of the corn is cooked. I'm gonna take it all out and then we'll serve it up with our chicken. And there is our chicken. I'm going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Now this honestly does not need butter, but corn without butter just isn't the same. So we have some chicken and some corn on the cob. So we have some chicken, some corn on the cob, and some barbecue sauce to go along with that. And that is what's for dinner. That is this week's What's for Dinner. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for watching.